Alright, so we shared everything there is to know about the server policies that we have. So in terms of LAN policies, networking policies, what do we have? Well, like we discussed already yesterday, we have flow control policies. These flow control policies are for the physical Ethernet links. So priority flow control or send and receive flow control. On the links towards your UCS blades, I am running priority flow control. Why? Because I'm running FCOE. So I'm running data center Ethernet, and priority flow control is part of that standard. So I'm always running PFC or priority flow control towards my blades. So no issue in enabling that there. So on the VNICs, there's no flow control policy. There is a network control policy about enabling of CDP and the propagation of link failures towards my VNICs, and about how to do some MAC learning in the UCS system. QoS policy, so I can assign a VNIC into a priority class, so in a QoS class, and then I can traffic shape that to a certain amount of kilobits per second. So this is hardware-based shaping. So the mezzanine card, your Palo card or Menlo card, will do this traffic shaping for you and make sure that the QoS policy is in place. And I can trust or not trust .1p bits. And then finally, I can set thresholds for LAN stuff as well. Now, the most important part here is the VNIC template. Like I said, the VNIC template is something unique inside the service profile. So this template is on by its own. So it's by itself, it means something. You can use an updating template here and use an initial service profile template, for example. So different combinations are possible. In this case, I'm going to create a VNIC template for 3 links. If you look at this from a production standpoint, what you usually see is if I'm running ESX, there's not a real point of, and I'm running a Nexus 1000V, then there's not a real point in doing multiple VNICs. So this is usually used in situations where I do not have a lot of control over what's happening inside the server network-wise. So here I can then assign multiple VNICs and tell the server team, you use NIC 1 for this, NIC 2 for that, and NIC 3 for that. Or in another sense, if I'm running a Nexus 1000V, I have full control over what's happening on the network. So then I just publish Fabric A and Fabric B to that guy, and I'm trusting his .1p bits. So there are a lot of things we can talk about in terms of design considerations that when this would be necessary. Either way, because of the failover features, usually the Palo card is a very interesting choice to choose when you're selecting servers for your deployment. All right, so VNIC templates, pay attention to this name. I will select this name later on. So I will say this is going to be my Fabric A link for production, because I have a production link and a DMZ link. Like we talked about yesterday, we cannot pin the VNIC for a production VLAN and the DMZ VLAN on the same link. We cannot pin that to a single uplink because we have that disjoint layer 2 configuration. Remember from yesterday? So we cannot use that single V Ethernet and pin it to 2 different links. So this is going to be Fabric A, and I will enable failover. Now I need to choose if this is going to be an initial template or an updating template. I do not know a lot of deployments that use initial templates for VNICs. I always add some VLANs to my network. So I will always have an updating template, because every time that I add a VLAN, I need to manually check the box, allow this VLAN on this VNIC, and then I can send it out. So there will always be a lot of changes, and especially in this VLAN section here. Now I can choose what is going to be my native VLAN on this link. So I'm free to choose whatever I want here. And of course I need to set MTU sizes. Now, like yesterday we talked about setting MTU sizes. Now remember, this is a new configuration. It's not the same as yesterday. So I can set MTU 9000 here, but I did not change the QoS system class. So the QoS system class still has that MTU 1500 in it. So I can set MTU 9000 here. That doesn't mean it will work now. Until I change that QoS system class, only then will this large jumbo MTU work. Now I can start selecting MAC pools. Because this is running on Fabric A, I want to have MAC addresses that have the letter A in them, that I pre-configure in my pool configuration. So I'm going to select Data Center Pool A. Do I have a QoS policy? No, I don't care about that. For network control, I'm using the default policy. I don't care about the pin group, and I'm not caring about statistic thresholds. So I'm done. Now, because I am using the default network control policy, I still want CDP to be allowed. Now, you might get a question saying, allow CDP to your hosts, but you're not allowed to create network control policies. In that case, it means that I'm using the default policy that I can change. I can edit the default policy and set CDP to be enabled instead of disabled by default. So this is going to be the default policy, and I can edit the default policy. I'm not saying that there is a default policy for everything. So some defaults are there always and I cannot edit them, but some policies have default policies. Like this one, and I now can enable CDP by default. Always do not forget to